Okay, today, as we look at place value, it's important to understand that each number, each digit in a number, has a value determined upon the place where it's at in that number. So, depending on where a 3 is, for instance, in any number, tells us how much it's worth or what value it has. Now when we start that, we go all the way to the right of a number. At the lowest of the low, at the very beginning, it's worth the least. So I like to remember this by looking at colleges. The lowest of the low, the freshmen. Okay, they move into freshman dorms. We'll call that the one's house. Okay. That's where we start. We always start at the right when we're talking about place value with our numbers. And then, as the freshmen graduate and become sophomores, they move up in the world. They have a little bit more value and worth to them. So they move into the thousands house. And then, once they do that, then the juniors and seniors come in, and they think they're all cool and such, and they're actually worth a little bit more in the eyes of the world. And so it continues and moves on. Now, in these dorms, as we're starting from the right, we start with the lowest of the low. They all have 3 rooms, 3 digits can move in. So as we start, it can be any digit, 0 through 9. There are 3 rooms in each house. You can't have 2 digits in one room or more than 3 digits in one house. But depending on the place where this digit goes, tells us how much it's worth. This 3 is in the one's room of the one's house. So it's just worth 3. That's all it is. This digit, now because that room is full, this digit can move in. This 2, because it's in the tens room of the one's house, that digit, just because of the place, makes it worth 20. So it's in the tens room of the one's house. 2 times 10 times 1, 20. Then, because these 2 are taken, then you can start moving in and left. This is in the hundreds room of the one's home. Those 3 rooms are always the same. Ones, tens, hundreds. Ones, tens, hundreds. And it just repeats itself through the thousands, the millions, the billions, trillions, and so on. This house has to be filled first. Okay? Then any digit can be moving in here, and we'll look over that. Now, we're in the thousands house. We've moved on up a little bit. Just because they're here, they're worth a little bit more. So this 7, it's still in the one's room. Okay, it's the least of anybody in the thousands house. It's in the one's room of the thousands house, though. So 7,000 is what that number represents. This is in the tens room of the thousands house. So the 10,000s place, 80,000. Just because it's in that spot. Hundreds room of the thousands home, 400,000. Then we get to the millions house. Okay. Any digit 0 through 9. 0 can't be the first one because then it doesn't change your number. But it can be a placeholder as well. So we have 0 10 millions, but if we have 100 million, then we have the 0 there. So as we look at place value, we start from the right and we move on to the left. And each digit to the left is worth more and more the further we go left. Then the last thing to remember is these houses are separated by commas. Okay? So this house is actually called a period. It's separated by commas. I won't bother you with that. But we separate it by commas. Then the last thing when we read a number, say 103, every time we reach a comma is when we say the house. 103,487,523. And that is place value.